Hey, I know everyone watching this has gotten their fair share of scam text messages, phone calls, emails, and everything. And I'm sure you spot them a lot and report them or block them or just ignore them. But have you ever been truly targeted by some top tier phishing scammers? I'm talking they've got information about you. They are faking two-factor codes to your device. They are pulling out all the tricks. They've done a lot of preparation and they're targeting you. You are not just part of some long list of people getting an email or getting some massive text blast. They're targeting you. These types of targeted attacks have resulted in billions of stolen money and cryptocurrency in the last few years alone. Today, I want to go through one particular voice phishing scam to help you recognize if it's happening to you, because otherwise you might fall for it. This one's really top tier. So this phishing scam was highlighted by Brian Krebs. If you're not aware, he's one of the top investigative journalists in cybersecurity. He's been highlighting over on his website, and I'll include the links down below to all of this, some people who have lost some serious money to voice phishing attacks, including one person getting 4.7 million stolen. In this article, they also talk about Mark Cuban was a victim of this while he was filming Shark Tank. He was in between takes. He wasn't paying enough attention. Someone called him. He fell for the scam and lost like $45,000. So this phishing crew just a few months ago was using Google Assistant, which is an AI-based tool off of Google to engage in conversations to seem more legitimate. That's the one that stole this 4.7 million. But that same crew has kind of spun off of that and have done some more specific to Apple scams lately. The phishing crew here is called Chameleon. This crew has run some scams against the FCC itself, Coinbase, Binance, a bunch of cryptocurrency firms. Crypto is a hot target for these phishing crews because A, it's generally easy to steal. Once you get into someone's account, you can just siphon this stuff off. It's hard to track, easy to money launder. There's not a whole lot of regulations around this kind of stuff. And unlike your bank account, if your bank gets drained, there's like FDIC. The bank has a fraud department that can handle that kind of stuff to try to get you your money back. With crypto, you're kind of SOL. The other thing this article goes into is the psychology of these phishing crews, how they recruit and how they turn on each other a lot. And them turning on each other is why we have a ton of information about this particular scam, because someone in the crew decided to post a bunch of their tactics publicly. As you can see here, a few of the members are highlighted, not clear what caused the rift, but because of a disagreement between these two people, we have a whole tutorial of how they work with their phishing kits. That's right, I said phishing kits. There's entire suites of software that these phishing crews use, build, help maintain with customer support, yearly subscriptions, all that jazz in order to speed up and give people the right tools to pull off these scams. So not everyone running these scams is an expert, right? You have crew members with distinct roles in that crew. Some people are the social engineering experts. Some people are specifically siphoning off funds. Other people are kind of managing the whole operation. But these phishing kits make it so that you don't have to be an expert in like MFA or crypto or anything like that. You could just, if you know how to use this phishing kit, you can pull off a successful scam. And as I said, we're talking about very targeted scams. So these crews will often practice for weeks leading up to actually pulling off the heist against their target. They even have full economics of who gets what cut. Some people are paid a flat fee. Some people are paid a percentage of the total amount stolen. All right, so let's get into the actual scam that I want you to watch out for today. So in the Krebs article, again, I'll link it below. They have a full video of the full voice call of a famous musician getting hacked by this scam. And then the attackers got into this musician's iCloud and stole some unreleased music. So there's a few things that scammers are going to do when they're setting up for one of these attacks. One is to create a sense of urgency in you. If they're not lucky enough to catch you at the right time, like Mark Cuban currently filming a TV show and not having the time to like really think about what he's doing, you can't control that a whole lot, but you can create that sense of urgency in some of your actions. So in this case, the scammers knew the target's iCloud email address, and they set off a flurry of password reset attempts that each time were pinging the actual owner of the email address, their target. Then this next part involves some very specific timing. So while they're peppering the target with password reset attempts, they call the target from a spoofed actual Apple phone number. So the target picks up his phone, even if the target Googled Apple support number to try to see if the number was legitimate, it would come up as legitimate. They are spoofing Apple's number. Now, the entire goal of the phisher on the phone is to establish trust with the target. So this is the crux of the scam that I want you to actually pay attention to. So peppered with password reset, called from an Apple phone number. So there's already some trust because of the phone number. Now, at the same time as they're on the phone with the victim, they call actual Apple, spoofing the victim's phone number. Okay, so stay with me. They're spoofing Apple's phone number to call the victim. They're spoofing the victim's number to call Apple on the side. The victim can't hear the second phone call. Calling Apple support from the phone number that's registered to the user and then pressing 1 in their automated menu will actually send an automated message to the Apple device that's registered to that phone number. You can see that here. So now this is a legitimate pop-up. At this point on that call recording, you can actually hear the musician, the victim, say, oh, wow, this actually is Apple. They even say things like, I'd like to send a notification to your Apple device. Do I have permission to do that? So they're basically saying, hey, we see you got a bunch of pop-ups going on your phone. We're going to call you. We're calling you from Apple support to help you out. Can I push a notification to your device? Which seemingly only Apple should be able to do, right? And that's true. Only Apple can do that. But the attacker can kick off that legitimate Apple push notification while they're on the phone with the victim, establishing a level of trust. Here you can see it in Krebs' actual transcript. Okay, so this really is Apple, they say after they get an alert. Yeah, that's definitely not me trying to reset my password. Completely fallen for this hook, line, and sinker at this point, and I do not blame the victim here. This is really tricky stuff. At this point, the attacker's goal is to get into the victim's iCloud account. So they say, hey, not a problem. See that this is all going on. I see that you verified this push notification that I sent to your device. We're going to get this all settled for you today, and we'll close out this ticket on our side. By the way, I highly recommend you go change your password right now because obviously something's going on. They even walk them through getting them to change their iCloud password. At this point, the account is still in the victim's control. The attacker has not achieved their goal yet. All they've achieved is establishing that trust via that push notification. So the victim says, hey, password's changed. I don't know what that was, but I appreciate your call and helping me out today through all this. This is where the real hack happens. They say, I'll go ahead and prompt you with the next step to close out this ticket. At this point, they now have a spoofed Apple login page that they're going to text the victim. Again, all perfectly orchestrated, timing-wise, while they're still on the phone. The guy gets the text. It's a fake domain. It's a phishing domain. You can see they just registered. It's like 5 numbers -apple.com. So it kind of looks like apple.com. And then visually, after you click that link, it looks exactly like apple.com. These phishing domains will even have SSL certs. So it'll show the lock. Some people will think that that means that they're actually on Apple. So the guy's at ease. He thinks he's being helped. Okay, so I just log in with my Apple ID here. Yep. So now at this point, they already have a level of trust, but they're going to go ahead and misdirect a little bit while that person's logging in. Again, they don't want their guard to all of a sudden come up and like, holy crap, am I typing this new password that I just made into a fake login page? So in order to do that, they go one step further and say, hey, would you like me to add another level of security to your account so that this never happens again? And if you ever want to change anything on your account, you're going to have to go physically into an Apple store and show your driver's license. So again, it's A, it's a misdirect while they're logging into something. B, it's additional trust, right? There's no way a scammer would help me make my account more secure, right? So at first, the victim says like, no, that's okay. Like we're almost done with this here. So this was almost like selling beyond the sale. But again, you don't want their guard to get up at some point and realize that they're being scammed. Krebs highlights another way that some of these phishers have done this when they're trying to hack a Coinbase account instead of an Apple account. While they're on the phone, they'll say something like, hey, we'll subscribe you for Coinbase Bytes, which is security updates. We want to get you all the security information that you need, make your Coinbase account more secure. All they're doing is registering on a public newsletter sign-up form, the email, but they're doing it while on the phone. So now all of a sudden a Coinbase email comes in officially from Coinbase while the person's on the phone. They say, oh, well, the person I'm on the phone with just sent me a legitimate email from Coinbase about securing my account. Again, level of legitimacy, all about timing. So lesson learned from this: Apple support, Google support, Microsoft support, never going to call you. Your bank's never going to call you. Say, hey, we see some suspicious activity on your account. Do you need help? We're going to help you right now. This is obviously a support call. Look at all that. That's never happened. If you get one of these calls and it even sounds legitimate and you're kind of thinking maybe something actually went on, maybe this is actually a fraud department, always hang up and you call them on their public number, not on the number they gave you. And never, they will never text you a login link, ask for your multi-factor code, ask for you to like push a button on a thing or type a number in that you're going to get. This is all built into these phishing kits to get multi-factor codes. And I know a lot of this was about Apple specific on this one, but like I said, on the Mark Cuban hack, this is on the Krebs article as well. He talks about he was using a Google device, an Android device, while he was filming Shark Tank. He got a call from an official Google number, so the setup is very similar. And then on Google, there's something like, tell me what number is circled, and they'll pop up a few numbers, and one of them is circled. If you've ever logged into a few Google accounts, this sometimes happens as like a challenge, and he did it. He told them on the phone which number was circled. At that point, they had access to his Gmail account. They started searching some key phrases, and it looks like Mark Cuban emailed himself a seed phrase to one of his crypto wallets, which let these people get in and drain $43,000 worth of crypto before he even knew what happened. There's also some really interesting bits in this article about the psychology of these crews and how they recruit, which is generally from gaming communities. It's a lot of young men sitting in Discords or Telegram groups and this meme kind of shows it is like the pipeline from Xbox to crypto Chameleon. To put a bow on this, Allison Nixon, if you don't know Allison, one of the premier researchers in actually tracking down these groups, figuring out who they are, helping law enforcement track them down, their behavior, all that kind of stuff, works for Unit 221B, cool little Sherlock Holmes reference. Allison tracks a lot of these phishing groups, and she talks about how they come and go a lot because eventually someone in the group will do what's called snaking the rest of the group, and they'll take the whole amount of money stolen instead of divvying it up based on the pre-agreed percentages, and they'll try to like disappear and burn their identity that they're using on Discord or whatever it is. She even goes to say that this is deserving of some sort of actual academic study to figure out what the psychological like self-selection is here in this community. She says, quote, "In short, a person whose moral compass lets them rob old people will also be bad business partners." These groups are not just scamming individuals or musicians out of their iCloud accounts or their cryptocurrency. These same groups are targeting mega organizations. Coinbase itself published an incident report from a group just like this succeeding in phishing a Coinbase employee just last year. Their security team was on top of it. They saw the suspicious activity. They had them locked down with a few minutes. So I don't think that the organization was super successful in their goal, but they did successfully phish an employee and get into Coinbase's systems. This is also the genesis of things like the Las Vegas casinos getting victimized by ransomware last summer. So even though Allison said, hey, these people are stealing money from old people, and that might be true, and they might be stealing from cryptocurrency type people, and that might be true, they're also breaking into organizations using these same exact tactics. That's why I wanted to highlight some of them for you today, not just to protect yourself, your family, and your finances, but also your place of work. You are a potential weak point in a corporation's layers of cybersecurity. So it's our responsibility to stay on top of a lot of this kind of stuff so that we don't fall for it. We're not giving attackers our credentials and our two-factor codes. Also, where possible, add YubiKeys to your accounts. A phisher can't get you to push a YubiKey. That won't give them the two-factor code. YubiKeys are phish-proof in a way that other texted codes or one-time use codes are not, because they can social engineer you to maybe hit this button on your device or read a code out over the phone to them. Have you seen any targeted scams like this targeted at you? I want to hear about it. Tell me about it below. I know I have. I've gotten some very targeted attacks over voice. They had a ton of information about me. They made it sound super believable. I lucked out to be in the right state of mind to understand that these were scams when they were happening to me. But literally no judgment to victims on this. This can happen to anyone. If it catches you at the right time, the right emotional state, and the scam is good enough, anyone can fall for this kind of stuff. Keep your guard up, stay safe out there, follow for more cybersecurity news.